Imagine working at a bank and the dude come in with a bucket and a pit bull and he fires a gun in the air and holds everybody hostage, but he don't want no money. That's crazy.
So I have a few minutes left of charging, and what better way to pass it than with the story time about the time that I was taken hostage during a bank robbery. And if you don't believe me, see the above media. December 1st, 2016, I'm working as a banker on the north side of Jacksonville at Community First Credit Union. If you know anything about the north side of Duval, then you know you better come with it. So it's the first of the month. Obviously, that's when Social Security checks drop. So by the time I pull up, it's already a line that's wrapped around the building. I done been there 6 months. I know everybody. Everybody know me. What's up, y'all? Just give me a minute to get situated. We'll let y'all in. Let everybody in. The lobby's full of people. I do like 2 or 3 transactions before said robbers enters the building. Now, mind you, it's one guy. He comes in with a hard hat, a bucket, and a pit bull. I do 3 transactions before this catastrophic situation even starts to take place. My manager approaches him. She like, "Hey, bro, like you can't have no dog in here." What's his response? He proceeds to look her dead in the eyes, locks eyes with her, and says, "Sorry, ma'am, this is my CNI dog." She snickers, she laughs at him, whatever, whatever, and then she proceeds to ask him to provide proof that it's his CNI dog from his vehicle. He agrees. Now, whether or not she's permissible to ask that man that question is beyond me. It is what it is. He proceeds to act like he's about to walk out. He reaches in his bucket, grabs out a 6-shot revolver, and he fires one round into the roof. And he proceeds to say, "I'm taking this bitch over." And of
Mm.
course, typical black folk fashion, when one run, we all run. So everybody
Oh God.
floods to the door, floods to the door, floods to the door. My manager was one of those people. So yes, she did abandon ship. At this point, I'm sitting behind the teller line, and I'm like, "Damn, bro, ain't no way this is real." Like, it's got to be like something out the movies. And I'm trying to put in the robbery code on the keyboard, but they had just came to change the robbery code like 3 days before this. So essentially, I'm just sitting back there clicking buttons and nothing is working. By this time, he comes up to the teller lobby and he like, he clicks the gun on the door, on the glass, I mean, and he tells us to come from out back and he escorts us into the lobby. Now, once we in the lobby, he grabbed like 2 of the managers, the ladies, of course, and he escorts them to the front of the door. By this time, like SWAT team and JSO and all of them, they there. Get on their knees, and he put the tool to their head, and then he escorts them back. Now, before he does all this, he does say like he don't want no money, he don't want to harm nobody, he just want to speak to his dad, his godmom, and his stepmom. Now me, I was dressed a little nicer than I am. I had a suit, tie, full get up, red tie. You know what I'm saying? I'm in there chilling. It's an elderly lady to my right, and I tell her like, "Hey, just chill. Everything gonna be cool." Now, for some reason, after I said this, I feel like I should have just shut up. The dogs walked over to me, and it like licked me on my hand. We're in the middle of a robbery, so I like snatch away. I'm like, like watch out. He proceeds to look at me and say, "Hey, bro, just chill. She ain't gonna bite. You ain't got nothing to worry about." Now, a piece of me did want to laugh because I don't take anything serious because, like, what? After that, he proceeds to ask me to come here. I'm like, what? He like, "Yeah, bro, you look like the president." So I stand up. He escorts me to the front door, puts the gun to the back of my head, has me open the door and tell all the police that's out there that he wants a negotiator. I tell them people he wants a fucking negotiator. He says, "Good job." Tell him again. He wants a fucking negotiator. "Appreciate you, bro." He escorts me back to my seat. I sit down and we sit there for probably like another 2, 3 minutes while he goes on this rant about how he wanted to come rob us because we didn't have a security guard. Wells Fargo had a security guard, so he ain't want no smoke. So after we're sitting in the lobby, he like starts to escort us back out to the teller line. Now while we being escorted to the teller line, I got a brother in front of me and I got a brother behind me. Who's in front? An 18-year-old kid. Who's behind me? Like he's probably like 35 at the time. So I'm like whispering to them. I'm like, "Hey yo, I'll punch him in the shit. Y'all just make sure y'all grab the gun so he don't shoot." Buddy in the front act like he don't hear me. I turn around at Buddy behind me. He's snotty nose crying, tears all wet.
Oh
So I'm like,
man.
yeah, we're gonna have to ride this one out for the long haul. We get back to behind the teller line. He turns on the TV and we watching our situation on the news. So every news channel that we click is our bank with SWAT teams surrounding us, and they got it barricaded off for like 2, 3 blocks. By this time, hostage negotiation is calling in and called in like 3 to 5 times, and every time they ask him what he wants. He says he wants to see his dad, his mom, and his stepmom. So they call back so frequently within such a short amount of time. My God. He proceeds to say, if y'all keep calling me, asking me these same questions, I'm going to go Bobby Shmurda in this bitch. Now, I already told y'all that I don't take nothing serious, but yet again, here he goes saying something that's about to make me laugh in his face, and I know I'm not supposed to be laughing because we're being taken hostage. Now, mind you, it's like 5 of us in the group, well, maybe like 7. It's me, 3 co-workers. Only one of them was a Caucasian guy named Anthony, and we'll get back to him shortly. And then we had, maybe 2 or 3 customers that were in there with us. So I'm like, whatever, cool. He then escorts us to the break room. Now, once we're in the break room, he's still like going back and forth with hostage negotiation. They keep calling in, they keep calling in. And he proceeds to tell us, like, hey, bro, if they don't hurry up, remember Anthony that I mentioned? He looks at Anthony and he tells Anthony, if I have to harm anybody here, which really sucks for you, it's going to be you because you're the only guy here. Anthony's face turns bright red, and I let out the biggest sigh of relief because, so after we sit in the break room for like, probably 10, 15 minutes, he's pacing back and forth. He's worrying about like snipers being able to get a shot on him, and he's getting, more and more flustered. At this point, we hear some commotion in the lobby. Now he thinks it's SWAT team trying to breach the lobby to get to him. Whole time, it was a banker and a customer hiding in a banker office, and they made a run for the front door. Now, if you see the footage on camera, the customer, who was a larger gentleman, he falls at the front door and proceeds to roll out the front door. Buddy goes to chase after the 2 of them, and as he leaves us and runs to the lobby, the door that separates the customer lobby from the teller line closes behind him. So now he's in the lobby by himself, behind bulletproof glass in this reinforced door. At which point, one of our managers, she looks and she observes, and she like, hey, y'all, like, he in the lobby and the door locked. We can run out the back door. Now, mind you, when she says this, she's the closest to the door. I am the furthest from the door. And then from the break room to the back exit is probably about 10 to 12 feet. Now, within that time, you would imagine I would be the last person out the door. I was the second person out the door. I was the first person in the grass. That track came in handy. At which point, as soon as we started to run out the front door, SWAT team then proceeded to use like this, probably like a 4-foot tall robot with a crane as an arm. And it shot through a 10-foot long section of glass, and it opened up like the Green Goblin does, and it like just ripped out a whole section. And like 6 SWAT team members came in with sticks. And I feel like by the time the first SWAT team got stepped foot inside that bank, the guy threw his gun, did the Patrick Star on the floor, and he surrendered. Now, one thing that I will say is that they make hostage negotiation look way, way, way easier and way sexier in the movie. In real life, them folks almost got us killed. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Alright, so yeah, y'all are amazing. I felt inclined to do a part 2 of the bank robbery situation because y'all had so many questions. And it's obviously easier to answer them via video than like trying to go through all the comments because y'all showed out for real. Now I will say, like, quick disclaimer: if you listening via AirPods or something like that and you ain't really paying attention to the phone, I will say, like, I'm gonna put videos and I'm gonna put some more pictures just to corroborate my story, so y'all know it ain't no cap in my rap, baby. So yeah, just a quick heads up. And y'all asked a lot of questions, so I had to write them down. I'm gonna try to make sure I cover everything in this one video because y'all know how I get on. First things first, his reasoning behind taking us hostage. Now, one thing that I did leave out in the first video was that he kept mentioning, like, the night before that his dad was threatening to Baker Act him. Now, like, I don't know what asking for his mama, his daddy, his godmom, and his stepmom was gonna do for him after he done already took us hostage. Now, throughout this whole ordeal, I'm sitting here thinking, and this is when Flocka was super popular, so I'm thinking, like, bruh flocked out. I'm thinking, like, he gotta be on drugs because this don't make no type of sense. But it very well could have been like some type of mental episode bro was going through or whatever. But his people were threatening to Baker Act him the night before, and when his father was interviewed, he said the same thing. Did I sue? I did try to. So I was ultimately unsuccessful to answer all your questions. But when I called the lawyer's offices, and I went to 4 free counseling sessions that they offer, I guess through like their insurance or whatever, in my attempt to create a paper trail so that when I'm calling these lawyer offices, I can be like, yeah, I'm currently in counseling. I got PTSD, which I really do. And pretty much each and every law office that I called, and I called about 3 or 4 of them, they all said the same thing. They said that he would have had to at least have pinched me, punched me, or when I fell or when I ran out the back door, I would have had to at least fallen so that there was some type of physical damage, physical harm, so that I would be able to sue, because in the state of Florida, like mental harm, mental damage isn't really you can't sue for that. So I did try though. Did they end up getting security? Duh. Now I didn't find this out until I actually came back to visit the bank, probably like 3-4 years after the fact. And I before I even walked up to the door, Burr was already standing outside. And once I got inside, he had his own little post in there, to get set up. And actually, bro that was behind me, crying, tears all wet, he got promoted to branch manager, likely because nobody really wanted to stay there after that. Nah, one part that was pretty cool that I left out in the first video, he actually went through a stint of like letting some of us go. Nah, this was also kind of funny because bro was like, who's the oldest person here? And it was an old dude in there with a walker. You know what I'm saying? And he asking everybody going down the line, and let's just say for like, numbers sake, bruh say he was 63. And he like, I could see in bruh face, like at this point he the oldest person, so he think he finna be the one that's let go. No, it was a lady, and I want to say she might have been a year older than him, and it really ain't no way to confirm this now. Ain't no way to confirm like she was actually older. I think she finessed him. But he was like, ma'am, I apologize. Like, obviously this ain't the route that I would have wanted to take. I'm sorry you had to go through this. And, when in the first video, when I was like, I told somebody, calm, we gonna be all right, it was her. So, he say all that, whatever. And he like, he escort her through the door. He watches her walk out, and he sent her on. Now, he asked for the youngest person after that. Now, bro was actually in the comments. His name DeAndre. I ain't want to mention too many people's name, but he admitted to being there. This, that, and the third. So we in the bike when we watching our news situation. Well, watching our situation on the news. Excuse me. Bro, mama ended up getting interviewed. So she on the TV or whatever, and she like, I'm worried about my baby. I can't contact him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm worried. I don't know what's going on. This, that, and the third. And like, we all sitting there watching this on the TV, and bro, like, bro said, Mike, like, man, who mama this is? And DeAndre, he like raised his hand, whatever. He like, that's my mama. He like, man, bro, like, damn, dog, like. And so in a way, he like, man, just go on bite to your mama, bro. Like, go to your mama, man. I apologize. Like, it is what it is. Make sure them people know, like, I ain't trying to harm nobody in here. So he escorted DeAndre to the door, like, he let bride, and I honestly did think that was kind of cool. A lot of people asking, did I quit? Duh. Guaranteed. I ain't been back in banking since. So the code change, good question. Now I will admit, like, had the code's been changed, the manager left, and Jit would have actually wanted some money, then I feel like the suspicion, it would make sense. But he was very, 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 very adamant about not wanting no money at all. He didn't want to see the vault. And when he was saying this, like, I was like a little upset, because if you ever been in banking, at least at the institution that I was working at, it was like a 2-person code. So one person had 3 digits, the other person had 3 digits, and you can't get into the bank without 2 people. Well, you can't get into the vault without 2 people. So I knew all 6 digits, and literally I'm sitting there waiting on brother be like, yeah, let me go ahead and get that, because I'm gonna give you the keys to the kingdom. I ain't putting up no fight. It ain't my money. It ain't my money. And I come from humble beginnings. So if you put me back there in the vault with you, and you put the gun to the back in my head and you ask me to put the money in the bag, I'm gonna put the money in the bag, and I'm gonna also, cause I got this suit on with the 2 pockets. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, you know what's up. The gentleman who rolled out the front door.
Clearly afraid. The first person a woman makes it out okay behind her falls.
I went sideways, knocked by 3, boom, boom, boom. That was a loud noise that everybody heard.
So yeah, and y'all roasted my dog and y'all roasted Anthony. Now, when I went back to the bank, you know, after the situation occurred and I was manager, of course I'm gonna ask about everybody. So I asked about, you know, Ant, and he said Ant was working with us for 4 months, and in them 4 months we a lot of seasoning on Anthony. He ain't dressed the same, he ain't talked the same, none of that. And I feel evident in how he handled the situation. Now, Jit told me like, yeah, man, when Anthony came by, you know, he demanded a branch switch. I get that. I completely understand. That makes sense. Part of his request was to get every Friday off. Okay, Ant, bet every Friday off. That's cool. Then he go on to say, yeah, then he start asking for every weekend off and coming into work late. And I'm like, damn, Ant was thugging him like that? He like, yeah, man. Like, so I think after a continuation of that type of behavior, I don't know if they fired bro, you know, encouraged him to quit, but, you know, Anthony was no longer employed at a Community First Credit Union. And just for increased continuity, I'm gonna go ahead and stitch in some pictures so y'all can see more of the suit actually. So yeah, obviously I'm overly grateful to still be alive. I know that the way that I told the story was very, very humorous, but in all honesty, that's the way I recollect the entire thing. And when I say like, yes, it took every bone in my body for me not to laugh at several different throughout this whole ordeal. So, you know, if I can think of any other crazy stories about my life, I will definitely keep y'all updated for sure.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy, man. Dude didn't want no money. He just, what he say he wanted? He wanted his mom, his stepmom, and his actual mom. Like, yeah, in my head, I be thinking like him. I be thinking dude on something. You know what I'm saying? He on some type of drug, or he just ain't got it all upstairs, for real. Because who comes in, fire a shot in the air, and hold everybody hostage and don't want no money? It's weird, you know what I'm saying? That's the first red flag for me, so I think bro needs some help, man. But if y'all enjoyed this story, man, drop y'all thoughts and opinions in the comments and let me know what y'all think. I'm gone.